AI. It feels like it's absolutely everywhere you look these days, right? It's writing code, composing music, even driving cars. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. But with all this AI advancement comes a lot of questions about what it means for the future of work. And that's exactly what we're going to be diving into today, research that sheds light on how AI is actually impacting jobs right now.
Yeah, not just in some far-off future.
Exactly. We're talking about what's happening right here, right now.
It's called the Anthropic Economic Index. And it's a really fascinating study that analyzes millions of real-world conversations. Millions, with the AI assistant Claude. So we're talking about hard data here.
Wow, so we're actually getting a glimpse into how people are using AI in their day-to-day work.
Precisely. And what makes this research even more interesting is that it comes directly from Anthropic, the company that actually built Claude.
So it's like getting a behind-the-scenes look at how their own technology is being used out in the wild. I love it. Okay, so to help us make sense of this massive amount of data, we've distilled it down to 5 key questions that we'll be exploring today. Are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, so first things first. What exactly does this Anthropic Economic Index measure? And how is it different from all the other research out there about AI and jobs?
Right. There's a ton of speculation about the future of work in the age of AI. But this index takes a different approach. It's not trying to predict what might happen. It's looking at what's actually happening right now.
Okay, so instead of hypothetical robot takeovers, we're grounding ourselves in the reality of how AI is being used today.
Exactly. It's like taking a snapshot of AI's current impact on jobs across different industries. And they're doing this by analyzing those millions of conversations with Claude using a tool called Clio. Clio. And what's really cool about Clio is that it allows researchers to pull insights from these conversations without compromising anyone's privacy.
Wait, hold on. Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah.
How can they analyze conversations without actually reading people's private messages?
It's actually pretty clever. Clio uses some really advanced techniques to identify patterns and trends in the data without ever accessing the content of the conversations.
So like imagine you're looking at a blurred out image.
Right.
You can still make out the shapes and figures, but you can't see the specifics.
Exactly. It's a way to analyze the data while also protecting user privacy.
That's really amazing. It sounds like they found a way to strike that balance between data-driven insights and respecting people's privacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got this incredible data set of real-world AI usage. What are they finding? What types of jobs are seeing the most AI integration right now?
Well, some of the findings aren't that surprising. As you might expect, software development and technical writing roles are really at the forefront of this AI adoption.
That makes sense. AI is great at coding and generating text, so it seems like a natural fit.
Exactly.
But I bet there are some more unexpected findings too, right? I mean, AI isn't just limited to tech jobs, is it?
You're absolutely right. The research shows that AI is actually being used in over 1/3 of all occupations. And we're not just talking about super technical fields either. We're seeing teachers using AI to plan lessons, marketers using it to analyze market research, even physical therapists using it for patient education.
That's a much wider reach than I would have imagined. It seems like AI is finding its way into all sorts of professions.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to see why this research is causing such a buzz. It paints a very different picture than the typical robots are taking over narrative.
Exactly. Which leads us to our next big question. Is AI mainly being used to replace human workers? Or is it helping them do their jobs better?
Okay, let's break that down. We've all heard the fears about automation, right? Where robots and AI take over human jobs entirely. But then we're also hearing a lot about AI being used as a tool to enhance human capabilities.
Yeah.
So which is it? Is AI coming for our jobs, or is it actually here to help us?
It's a big question, and one that this research helps to shed some light on. What they found is that AI is actually being used more for what we call augmentation, meaning it's helping humans do their jobs better than for automation, meaning replacing jobs altogether. Yeah, so specifically, 57% of AI usage falls under augmentation, while 43% is geared towards automation.
Huh. So it seems like AI is acting more as a collaborative partner than a replacement worker in a lot of cases.
Exactly, and that challenges this common assumption that AI is primarily a job killer. Instead, it suggests that, at least for now, AI is mainly being used as a tool to make humans more efficient and effective.
So AI isn't necessarily coming for our jobs. It might actually be coming to our aid.
Right. It's a different way of looking at things.
It definitely is. And that opens up a whole new set of questions about how we can prepare for a future where humans and AI are working side by side. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'm curious about another aspect of this research. Does AI usage vary depending on how much a job pays?
That's a great question, and one that the researchers were interested in too. You might assume that high-paying jobs would be the first to adopt AI, right? Just because they have more resources.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the findings actually tell a different story. Both low-wage and very high-wage jobs actually have pretty low rates of AI use.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. So if it's not the lowest or highest paying jobs, where is AI being used the most?
Well, the research seems to suggest that the sweet spot for AI adoption is actually in those middle to high salary jobs. Think like computer programmers, data scientists, copywriters.
Interesting. So these are roles that require specialized knowledge and skills, but maybe not years and years of advanced training.
Right.
Fascinating. It seems like AI is finding its niche in those roles that require a balance of technical expertise and some creative problem solving. But before we get too deep into the implications of all of this, we should address the elephant in the room: limitations. Every study has its caveats, right?
Of course. It's super important to be aware of the limitations of any research, and this one is no exception. One key caveat here is that while the researchers can see that people are using Claude for work-related tasks, they don't actually know how they're using the information Claude provides.
That's a really good point. Just because someone is using an AI tool doesn't necessarily mean we know how they're incorporating that information into their actual workflow.
Right. It's like seeing someone use a map app.
Yeah.
But you don't know if they're planning a road trip or just checking the traffic.
Exactly. The tool itself is only one part of the story. Okay, so we need to be careful about drawing big conclusions just based on the fact that people are interacting with AI tools. What are some other limitations to keep in mind?
Another thing to consider is that this research is focused specifically on Claude. And while Claude is a really impressive AI assistant, it's just one platform among many. So it's definitely possible that the patterns of AI usage might look different if they were looking at data from other AI tools.
So we're getting a valuable glimpse into AI usage, but it's still just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. The full picture of AI adoption is probably even more diverse and complex than what we see in this study.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to see this research as a starting point, not the definitive answer.
Right.
Especially since the field of AI is moving so fast.
Absolutely. We need to keep researching, analyzing, and updating our understanding as all these new developments come out.
All right, so we've got a good foundation now for understanding the Anthropic Economic Index and what it tells us about AI's impact on jobs. We've looked at its methodology, its key findings, and even its limitations. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to step back for a minute and just ask you, what are the biggest takeaways for you from this research so far? What really stands out to you as being significant?
For me, what's most striking is just how widespread the impact of AI on jobs already is. It's not just limited to tech. It's showing up in education, healthcare, marketing, all kinds of fields.
I agree. That pervasiveness of AI usage is really eye-opening. And to add to that, the fact that AI is being used more for augmentation than for automation, that really challenges a lot of assumptions about the future of work. At least for now, it seems like AI is more about empowering workers than replacing them.
Absolutely. And that shift in perspective is really crucial. It opens up so many new possibilities for humans and AI to collaborate and use each other's strengths to achieve even greater things. But as we've said, this is just the beginning. We need to keep digging into these implications, and that's exactly what we'll do in the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, this research really gives us a solid starting point. But the exciting part is digging deeper into what it all means, What are the implications of all this? It makes you wonder, what does this mean for the future of work?
Exactly. It's all well and good to know how AI is being used today, but what about tomorrow? What should we be doing to prepare ourselves for this future where AI is playing such a big role? Besides, not panicking.
Right. Well, first, I think it's important to acknowledge the anxiety that a lot of people are feeling about this. There's this fear that AI is going to come in and steal everyone's jobs. But remember what the research is showing us. At least for now, AI is mostly augmenting human work. It's enhancing our capabilities, not replacing us entirely. Okay, that is a bit reassuring. So instead of viewing AI as this big, scary threat, maybe we should be trying to see it as an opportunity.
Exactly. It's all about adaptation and evolution. Just like technology has always disrupted industries and created new ones, AI is driving another wave of change. And the people who embrace this change and learn to work alongside AI, those are the ones who are going to thrive.
So what does that look like in practice? If I want to future-proof my career, what skills should I be focusing on?
Well, this research actually gives us some pretty good clues. If you look at the tasks that are most resistant to being taken over by AI, there's a pattern. They all require these uniquely human skills, things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, the kinds of qualities that are really hard to program into an algorithm.
So we're talking about the soft skills, the things that make us human. Those are the areas where we have an edge over AI.
Exactly. But it's not enough to just have these skills. We also need to learn how to apply them effectively in a world where AI is becoming more and more prevalent. Think of it this way. AI can handle a lot of those routine tasks, freeing us up to focus on the more strategic, creative, and empathetic aspects of our work.
So for example, let's say you're a marketer. You could use AI to help analyze market trends and identify your target audience. But then you would step in to craft that really compelling, persuasive campaign that connects with people on an emotional level.
Precisely. AI handles the data crunching, the human provides the spark, the emotional intelligence. It's a really powerful partnership.
I like that analogy. It's like AI is taking care of the heavy lifting so that we can focus on what we as humans do best, connecting with other humans. But if I'm being honest, the speed at which AI is advancing is a bit intimidating. How do we even keep up with all these changes?
It's true. The pace of change can feel overwhelming. But remember, this research is giving us a valuable snapshot of the current trends, which can help us anticipate the skills and knowledge we'll need in the future.
So if I'm a teacher, should I be running out to learn how to code right now? Or if I'm a physical therapist, do I need to become a data scientist?
Not necessarily. It's not about becoming an AI expert overnight. It's more about understanding how AI can be integrated into your existing skill set. So a teacher might use AI to help personalize lesson plans or assess student progress more effectively. And a physical therapist could use AI to analyze patient data and create more customized treatment plans.
So it's more about thinking of AI as another tool in our professional toolbox. The more we understand these tools, the more effectively we can use them.
Exactly. And just like with any new tool, there's going to be a learning curve. But there are so many resources available to help us upskill and adapt. Online courses, workshops, mentorship programs. There are countless ways to become more AI literate.
Yeah, it is good to hear. It's not about being intimidated by AI, it's about being empowered by it.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that AI isn't meant to replace human ingenuity, but to actually act as a catalyst for it.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this such an exciting time. We're literally witnessing the birth of a new era of work, one where humans and AI collaborate to achieve things that were previously impossible.
I can definitely see the potential here. But we also can't ignore the challenges, right? This research highlights the potential benefits of AI augmentation. But what about the potential downsides?
You're right. We need to be realistic about the potential challenges too. While AI can definitely enhance our capabilities, it also raises some important concerns about things like biased job displacement and the need for ongoing education and training.
Okay, let's break those down a bit.
Yeah.
First, the issue of bias. We hear a lot about how AI algorithms can sometimes reflect or even amplify existing biases in society. How do we address that in the context of work?
It's a critical issue, and one that we need to be super vigilant about. Remember, AI algorithms are only as good as the data they're trained on. So if that data is biased, the algorithm will be biased too. It's crucial to make sure we're using diverse and representative data sets when we're training these AI systems, and then we need to be constantly monitoring for and mitigating any potential biases that might emerge.
So it's about being proactive and making sure that the AI tools we're using are fair and equitable for everyone. Okay. What about job displacement? Even if AI is mostly being used for augmentation right now, isn't there a risk that as AI gets more sophisticated, it will eventually be able to automate even those complex tasks that currently require human expertise?
It's a valid concern, and it's something we can't just ignore. While the focus right now is on AI augmenting human capabilities, the line between augmentation and automation is constantly shifting as technology advances.
So how do we prepare for that potential shift? How do we make sure that workers aren't left behind as AI continues to evolve?
That's where lifelong learning becomes absolutely essential. We need to cultivate a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation. As AI starts to take over more of those routine tasks, we need to be ready to upskill and reskill ourselves to take on those roles that require uniquely human abilities. Critical thinking, complex problem-solving creativity, emotional intelligence, and that ability to adapt to new technologies and new work environments.
So it's like we're all becoming lifelong learners, constantly evolving and adapting to the changing demands of the workplace. It can be daunting, but it's also pretty exciting.
Exactly. It's a challenge, but it's also an incredible opportunity. As AI takes over more of those routine tasks, it frees us up to focus on those aspects of work that are most fulfilling and meaningful. The creative, the strategic, the human-centered aspects.
I see the bigger picture here. It's not just about the technology, it's about how we as humans adapt and evolve.
Yeah.
It's about redefining what it means to work and what it means to be human in a world that's becoming increasingly automated.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about harnessing the power of AI to create a future where humans and machines work together to achieve extraordinary things, to solve complex problems, and ultimately to create a better world.
That's a pretty powerful vision. But let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. What are some concrete steps that people and organizations can take today to start preparing for this AI-powered future? What are the most important takeaways from what we've been talking about?
That's a great question. I think there are a few key takeaways that we can all put into action right now.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, embrace that mindset of continuous learning. The skills that are in high demand today might be obsolete tomorrow. So make it a habit to stay up to date on new technologies, especially those that are relevant to your field. Take advantage of online courses, workshops, industry events, mentorship programs, anything that helps you expand your knowledge and skill set.
So become lifelong learners.
Yep.
Always be upskilling and reskilling to stay ahead of the curve. Got it. What else?
Second, focus on developing those uniquely human skills that AI can't easily replicate. Things like critical thinking, complex problem-solving creativity, emotional intelligence, and adaptability. These skills are going to be essential for navigating the complexities of an AI-powered workplace.
It's about honing those human superpowers that set us apart from the machines.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Third, be proactive about looking for opportunities to actually work alongside AI. Don't be afraid to experiment with new AI tools and platforms. The more you understand how AI works and how you can integrate it into your workflow, the better prepared you'll be for whatever the future holds.
So don't shy away from AI. Embrace it. Learn it. Use it to your advantage. I like it. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this part of the deep dive?
Just one. Remember, AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us as humans to make sure that AI is used ethically and responsibly, and that its benefits are shared widely.
That's a good reminder. AI is a powerful force. It's up to us to shape how it impacts our lives and our world. It really is inspiring to think about humans and AI working together, building a better future. But it also brings up some pretty big questions about the role of humans in a world where machines are capable of doing so much. If AI just keeps getting better and better at more and more tasks, what happens to us? What skills are going to be the most valuable in this AI-powered world?
Yeah, those are the big questions, aren't they? And like we've been discussing, the answers are still kind of unfolding. But if we look at the trends that this research is pointing to, we can get some pretty valuable insights. Remember, the tasks that are the most resistant to being taken over by AI are those that really require those uniquely human qualities, things like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, that ability to solve complex problems.
So it sounds like the skills that are going to be most valuable in the future are the ones that can't be easily programmed into an algorithm, the things that make us distinctly human.
Exactly, but it's not even just about having those skills. It's about knowing how to use them effectively in a world where AI is becoming more and more integrated into everything we do. It's about learning to work with AI, seeing it as a partner rather than a competitor.
So it's less about humans versus AI and more about humans with AI, figuring out how to leverage each other's strengths to achieve better outcomes.
Exactly. Think about it this way. AI can handle a lot of those routine tasks that are based on data, freeing us up to focus on the strategic, the creative, the more human-centered aspects of work.
So it's like AI is handling all the heavy lifting, allowing us to focus on those things that truly need that human touch, things that require ingenuity and empathy. But to do that effectively, it seems like we need to develop a whole new set of skills, right?
Yeah.
Almost like an AI literacy.
I think that's a great way to put it. And this AI literacy goes beyond just the technical stuff. It's also about understanding the ethical implications of using AI, being able to really think critically about AI-generated content, and just having the flexibility and adaptability to navigate a workplace that's constantly changing and evolving.
So it's not about being afraid of AI or rejecting it. It's about being aware of the potential downsides while also being open to the incredible ways it can change the way we work and live.
Yeah.
Finding that balance.
Exactly. And it's a balance that we'll need to keep reevaluating as AI keeps developing and getting more sophisticated. But I have a lot of faith in humans and our ability to adapt and find creative solutions. I mean, we've been facing down these kinds of technological shifts for centuries, and we've always found ways to not just survive, but actually thrive.
That's a good point to remember. It's easy to get caught up in all the anxiety surrounding AI. But history shows us that humans are actually pretty good at adapting to change.
We are, and this is no different. This time we have this incredible opportunity to shape how AI impacts our lives and our world. It's a chance to step back and really think about our values, our priorities, and what our place is in this new technological landscape that's evolving so rapidly.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. It's also really exciting, though. AI is really pushing us to reconsider what it means to be human in a world where machines are becoming so capable.
Right.
It's a challenge, but it's also an incredible opportunity.
It really is. And I think that by leaning into this challenge, by learning how to work alongside AI, and by focusing on those really unique human qualities that make us who we are, we can create a future where both humans and AI can flourish.
That's a really hopeful and powerful vision for the future. And I think it's the perfect place for us to wrap up our deep dive today. We've talked about how AI is already having an impact on jobs today, the potential benefits and challenges of AI augmentation, and the skills that we need to thrive in this rapidly changing world.
It has been a fascinating conversation. And I hope it's given our listeners some things to think about and maybe even inspired them to learn more.
I know it has for me. And if anyone is interested in learning more about the research we discussed today, make sure you check out the show notes for links to the full Anthropic Economic Index research paper and the data set itself. There's a ton of great information there for anyone who wants to go deeper.
And as always, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on AI and the future of work? What are you doing to stay ahead of the curve? Share your thoughts and experiences on our social media channels. Let's keep the conversation going.
Absolutely, because the more we all understand about AI and its implications, the better prepared we'll be to navigate this new and exciting era of work and innovation.
And who knows, maybe together we can even help create a future where humans and AI can collaborate to make the world a better place for everyone.
That's a goal worth working towards. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and the future of work. Until next time, keep learning, keep adapting, and keep exploring all the amazing things that are possible when human ingenuity meets the power of AI.